Let's go over the answer to these questions. Remember, if I'm going too fast, you can always stop and pause and make sure that you get your answers down. Let's look at stanza number 1. I'm going to go ahead and label that stanza. Whenever you're reading a poem, I would suggest that you do the same thing. What does the author mean by a one-way ticket? Well, if we look back in our stanza, we can find that it says, looks like I only got a one-way ticket over here. When you have a one-way ticket, that means that you're not coming back. Okay, let's look at the next question. What is the rhyme scheme in the first 3 stanzas? Well, let's take a look at this. We're going to start with the very last, we're going to look at the last words at the end of the line. And we're always going to start with A when you're trying to find the rhyme scheme. So this is A. There is B, because there doesn't rhyme with this. Way doesn't rhyme with there or this, so it is C. And B for here. Now I know there and here, remember from our poetry review sheet, we have slant rhymes or partial rhymes, things that don't exactly rhyme all the way. So, but where those are considered rhymes, so they would get the same letter. Okay, let's take a look at the second stanza. All right, this is stanza number 2. Let's take a look at the rhyme scheme. Sure wish I, that's going to be A, could give you one more kiss. Kiss doesn't rhyme with I. It rhymes with wish, sort of, but not I. Played is C, and kids is B. Again, we have that partial rhyme for kiss and kids. Okay, stanza number 3. I'm laying down my gun, I'm hanging up my boots, I'm up here with God, and we're both watching over you. So gun is A, boots is B, God is C, and you is B. Again, it's that partial rhyme. Okay, so let's look at, does the author use partial rhymes or complete rhymes in stanza number 3? Of course, we just kind of said that boots and you are partial rhymes. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at our next question. Okay? So what is that open field out on the edge of town? So lay me down in that open field out on the edge of town. Where would you lie anybody down in an open field? Since you've watched the video, you can probably make a prediction about the answer to this question, and it is the cemetery, right? Or the graveyard. Because when you die, you got to be buried somewhere. Okay? And then let's look to see where, according to the author, where has his soul gone? Let's go back and look in our stanza. Okay? And know my soul is where my mama always prayed that it would be. So prayed is your clue. Because usually when people pray, that means they have faith of a certain type of religion, and usually you pray that your soul would go to heaven. Okay? Now, if that's not what you believe, that's fine. It's just how you can make that assumption that people who do pray do believe in those things, and that's where his soul is going. Okay? Okay, that was stanza number 4. Let's look at stanza number 5. In stanza number 5, it becomes apparent. Well, let's take a look at what it means, apparent. It means obvious. You know, this is what we can see, that the author is writing to whom? Let's look at stanza number 5. If you're reading this halfway around the world, I won't be there to see the birth of our little girl. So he's more than likely writing to his wife or his girlfriend. Okay, who is pregnant with their daughter. Okay, let's look at stanza number 6. In the first line of stanza number 6, what compliment, what nice thing does the author give to the letter's recipient? I hope she looks like you. Well, if you want somebody to look like someone, you must think that they are beautiful. So he's saying that she is beautiful. Okay, so stanza number 7. I'm laying down my gun, I'm hanging up my boots. Tell Dad I don't regret that I followed in his shoes. Okay, so in stanza 7, gun and boots would symbolize his life. That's his job, the military, right? It also symbolizes soldiers. That's what you would use to symbolize somebody who's done this kind of work. Honor, the war, military, all those things are over for him at this point. Okay, but we can also regret. We have this this idiom here that says, "Tell Dad I don't regret that I followed in his shoes." So we can make an assumption. We can make a generalization that the author's father was also a soldier. Okay, all right, so let's look at stanza 8. So we're going to look at the rhyme scheme in stanza 8. We're going to see some more complete rhymes and some partial rhymes in this stanza. Okay, so down is A. In the open field, out on is B, because on doesn't rhyme with down. Okay, remember we're only looking at these end lines here. Okay, so does town rhyme with down? Yes, it does. Town rhymes with down. Okay, on and soul, they don't rhyme, and soul doesn't rhyme with down or town. So that is going to be C. Is where my mama always prayed. Prayed doesn't rhyme with any of these. So we're going to go with D. Okay? Go and soul, they're slant rhymes. They kind of have that sound, that vowel sound. So that is going to be a C. This doesn't rhyme with any of these other end words. So that's going to be E. And then I'm already home, home, and go and soul. They kind of have that slant rhyme, that O sound. So that's going to be a C as well. So let's keep going. So does the author use partial rhymes or complete rhymes in stanza 9? So let's look at stanza 9. If you're reading this, there's going to come a day when you'll move on and find someone else, and that's okay. So we've got a complete rhyme with day and okay. Those are complete rhymes. Number 10, stanza number 10. Just remember this, I'm in a better place where soldiers live in peace and angels sing amazing grace. So stanza 10 is definitely meant to give peace, comfort to the author's family. So the mood of this is very comforting, peaceful. Remember, mood is how you are supposed to feel after you've read the piece, the stanza, the lines, and after you've been, the author has his attitude, and he's kind of given you some peace by saying, I'm in a good place, don't worry about me. So it's kind of meant to give the reader some comfort, and that's what that means by mood. And then we repeat again the refrain, right? Stanza 11 is a repeat of stanzas 4 and 8. In poetry, this is called a refrain. Remember when we did our poetry review sheet? It's called a refrain. Are there some other phrases that are repeated in this poem, right? Let's go back and look so we can talk about how I'm laying down my gun, I'm hanging up my boots. If you're reading this, is probably the biggest one, right? That we see a lot. Okay, so the purpose of this poem, it was really meant as a way of comforting the family. A lot of times, soldiers, when they would go to war, they would start writing letters to be able to send to their home to their loved ones, just in case they had passed away, so that they would know their last thoughts and their last words.